Hey everyone, we're back for another episode of Motown Witch After Dark. I'm Yvette.
And I'm Mary.
And we have a little stuff to talk about today. Just a little bit of stuff. So me and Mary were having a conversation because so many people come up here asking about mentorship.
Yes, they do.
So this turned into a conversation for tonight.
Yes. And I'm going to start off with a little Q&A with Yvette on this subject, because we're going to pretend that this is some magical world where Yvette is not as busy as she is right now. So my first question is, in regards to mentorship, what would entice you to offer a mentorship to someone or some people, if anything, if you weren't insanely busy and, had shit to do? So if Yvette was just sitting here twiddling her thumbs going, how can I mentor my community? How would I do that?
I don't even know how to answer that.
No?
I really don't, because I think okay, let me say this. I think going back to like the years that I was doing like the stuff with the goddesses and the sacred woman,
Yeah.
I saw a certain kind of woman who was looking for a certain kind of path.
Okay.
And it was easier to know which ones were real and gonna stick.
Okay, it was easier to discern.
It was easier to tell that. This, with the clientele that comes in here and say they want mentorship,
Yeah,
many people want a bunch of Harry Potter stuff.
they do want Hogwarts.
And I would have to, what would entice me to give in would be someone who understood that this is a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't something that you just turn on and off. And we're not going to do some Harry Potter shit. You're not going to, oops, and this, all of that weird shit. We're not that, no.
No.
That would be the thing. To learn, to have that mindset, to know that this is the way that you live. It's how you do everything. You don't turn it off.
No, you roll with it 24/7.
That would be, it would have to be that kind of a conversation for me to understand that that's where they were coming from.
Right. And the other thing is discerning, because people lie.
Yes.
So they say they're ready, and they look, and act normal until you say yes, and then the crazy comes out.
Yeah.
So it's like, at that point, as we know, Yvette ain't got no problems cutting you at that point.
She doesn't mean literally.
Or do I? So, yeah, what would entice me to do a mentorship is along the same lines. Person would have to really be serious. And like you said, discerning that in this particular realm is not easy. Because like I just said, people lie.
They pretend well.
They pretend very well. They know how to wear a mask. They know what words to say. And you have to look past all of that and really see whether this soul is really committed or not. And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no.
Yeah.
They're not. So, let me see. The next question I have, because I only got a couple. Would you want to do it in a mentorship in a group setting, or would you do it one-on-one? Now, this is, like I said, if in an alternate universe you had time.
Sophia, don't be calling me asking me about mentorship.
She had something called time.
Group things probably work better because you can say it once.
Okay. I like that.
Having experience something close to that with the whole sacred woman circle thing, it works better with the group for me.
For you, it works
but
better.
I'm not that personal. Let's talk on the phone, girl. How you doing? And all that. I'm not that person.
Okay.
So it's best of a group because then these people can make a whole little thing with themselves. They can have them little conversations on the phone and all that weird shit. I don't do all that. Yeah.
She don't have time to do that.
I do not.
And if she had time, what she's saying is she still wouldn't do it.
I've never been that phone person. That listen, girl. Hey, what you doing? That's never been me.
No, that's not. Mm-mm. Now, even when I have to text Yvette, I'm like, okay, wait, I have to remember who I'm texting. So I got to be to the point, short and sweet, and then I got to get out. So it's like double dutch. You jump in, then you jump out real quick.
I like my me time. I'm a stereotypical only child. I like my me time.
It's her me time. So.
And I don't have much of it. So.
Right. So it's important.
Yes.
So none of that, hey, girl.
Yeah.
What's going on? And you sit there and hold the phone. That's not what you got.
I got friends who say I was talking to so we was on the phone for 4 hours. I'm like, doing what?
Mm-hmm.
How? There's stuff to be done.
There is stuff.
I can't imagine sitting on the phone with somebody for 4 hours. There's oh my goodness. No.
Well, that's because you know that time is value. You value your time.
Yes.
And I don't think most people do. I don't think they equate time with value. You know, they're looking to, like I had a lady that was a friend of mine way back when, and her thing was, because she had like 4 or 5 children. I never wanted children, so I didn't have children. And she looked at me one day and go, well, what do you do with your time?
What I want to do.
And I'm like, what I want to do with my time. I got other things that I enjoy or other things that I have to do. But I don't think people, they waste time.
I think there's a lot of wasted time, but that's just me, and I try not to put my thing on other people.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that there's things that I do. I like to read. I like my music. All that just involves me by myself. Leave me the entire fuck alone. This is what I'm doing. So those are those things. And then if I'm making something, if I'm making dolls for the store, if I'm making something for the store, then that involves my concentration because I'm putting that energy into it to manifest whatever it is that I'm trying to put into this. So, right. Or if I'm doing work and I'm being paid to do work, so whatever that is, that involves my concentration as well. So I don't have time to just sit up. I just don't.
You don't.
So, and even back in the day, that still was just never really my thing. We get to the point, I think the only one that I've ever really done that with probably is Oya.
Okay.
Me and her, when we would get together and we would talk. But our talking will also lead to business stuff. Mm-hmm. So we were still handling business. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of bullshit in there, and there's a whole lot of business in there. So that still happened like that. But I know my time by myself, my time with my music, my time with my books, all that stuff is like, look, leave me
the entire
fuck alone. So, and now with the store aspect, the way that it is, although I'm here several hours early, I'm open from 10 to 6. Six of those days. Mm-hmm. And so therefore my me time is even more valuable because I'm being pulled on all day long. I barely have time to go to the bathroom. I'm being pulled on, or even if I'm in my office doing something or somebody needing me to come out for something, or calling on the phone for something, or sending me an email for something or something. So my me time is very, very, very valuable.
Absolutely. And that would not interfere with, but it would make it even more so you really got to be on your shit for someone like Yvette to want to mentor you or consider mentoring you. But I think that's for anybody who is in a position, like Mambo Tanya.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how she does all she does.
Right, because y'all only knew. She does a lot. She, 'She, 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 it if you're looking for a mentor, you need to consider it from the mentor's point of view and not just your own selfish reasons to wanting to be mentored. And a lot of you I've noticed that come into the store, it's like I want to ask you, do you really actually need a mentor? Because it's like, are you aware of what path you want to take?
That part.
If you're not aware, do you know what costs to you spiritually? Do you have any sort of idea? Because if you come in and you're just like, I don't know. Well, we don't know either. We don't know either. So you got to give a person somewhere to start. So I always tell people, start reading. Yeah, you can watch YouTube and you can do TikTok and all like that, but you need to start discerning what you're reading, what you're watching, that kind of thing, and see if you are being spiritually fed by those things, or if it sounds like a bunch of crap. If it sounds like a bunch of crap, it probably is. But you also have to look at things that are true for you. Like, don't get upset if you read something that strikes a chord with you. It might trigger you. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad information.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be ready to have your life beliefs challenged when you're in a mentorship. It's going to be challenging. It's not going to be, oh, and we're looking at the orbs of light.
Well, it depends on who's your mentor.
That's true. That depends. It does depend.
That depends, because I think the only person I would ever could really probably have had as a mentor was probably Sim Louise.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no orbs of light. There was no nothing. He would just call me out on bullshit, on my bullshit.
Right. Right. Yeah, you got to be ready for that.
So now he was probably, now that I think about it, he's probably the only other person, because he would just call me on a Sunday and we would talk. And our talking would turn into some kind of a lesson. It never failed.
Okay.
So that's why I said he would probably be the only one I would have ever considered any way, shape, or form a mentor, I think. And if I'm not, please excuse me, because I have Alzheimer's disease. If somebody else is out there that I've talked to like that, and I don't remember right now.
Right. Charge it to her head, not her heart.
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
Because he was the first person that pops in my head right now that I've had those kind of long conversations with on spirituality in any kind of way, shape, or form.
But like you said, there was a lesson in it.
There was always a lesson in the phone conversations, and then there was the lessons in him having me come help at different events that technically I probably shouldn't have been at. But he would have me come help him in different things. So I think those were those times that would be considered mentorship.
Okay. Okay. Now, the other thing I think that mentorship involves is the absence of ego, which we don't know many of those that have that absence of ego.
Man.
We don't, yeah. See, there's some stories that would take another,
Man.
that would be another podcast. Just stories.
The ego part is probably why I'm not technically initiated in anything. Because the ego usually comes through, and I call that the human factor. And that human factor comes through, and then people show their ass, and you know.
It falls apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, you have to put that aside, and there are a very few, a rare couple folks who can do that. Don't ask me for names.
Without ego?
Without ego.
Again, we back at Tanya.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. We're at Mambo Tanya. So, we're not trying to make you more busy, Mambo.
Right. I mean, you know, I meet a few people in between, but I don't know them well enough to give that. Tanya, Mambo Tanya, I've known for years. And I've seen her growth, and I've watched. Is this coming?
Yeah, it's coming off.
I just sit back and I watch her. So.
Yeah. So Yeah, you have to have that absence of ego, and that is like finding a needle in a haystack. You're not going to get that very often. And just because someone is charismatic doesn't mean they should be a mentor. And what I mean by charismatic is, they know how to charm an audience, they know what words to use, and they know what they know what kind of performance to put on in order to lure you in. And then, they may come up with an exorbitant amount of money that you need to spend.
Or you watch the drastic mood changes.
Yes. Yes. You see the drastic mood changes. That's a big one.
There's a particular person who constantly says she's mentoring people or taking, I'm not going to use her favorite word, taking on people.
Mm-hmm.
And the complaint is constantly that they don't stay on task, they don't stay on a subject, they don't stay on any particular one thing, and then they have these temper tantrums and all this other stuff. So again, that's an ego issue.
That's an ego issue, absolutely. So be skeptical about that kind of thing. If something doesn't feel right, something probably isn't right. So, stay skeptical. I'm not saying get on your mentor's nerves with it, because the other thing that we find is people talk over you. They'll ask you a question and then they won't stop talking so that you can give them an answer. Or you answer them and they're like, but, and you're like, okay, I can't talk to you. And then they get upset, but they're not listening. And in order to be mentored, you have to listen. You have to be teachable. You have to be coachable. You have to be studious, meaning that you take notes or that you're able to be corrected without having thin skin and getting offended by whatever. There's a lot to being a mentor. This is not something that you should take lightly, or that you should do. You come in here, you get a book, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna start mentoring other people.
Well, now that's Detroit.
That's Detroit.
That's Detroit. That's my experience in Detroit. I swear on everything. That's I took 2 lessons in belly dance. Now I'm a belly dance teacher. I read one book on Kemet. Now I'm the next Bobby Hemmett. It's absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
So it's like the one young man that comes in here almost every day, and within 2 months of coming in here, now he's doing work for people. It's that kind of thing. So, mentorship, taking on a student, an apprentice, or whatever word you want to call it.
Right.
That's a huge responsibility on both parties, because the person teaching has to actually be and I don't consider myself a teacher, first of all. Okay. That's my issue. That is my biggest issue. I know we're probably everywhere up with this conversation, but that's my biggest issue. I don't consider myself a teacher because I really don't think I know shit. I really don't. Mm-hmm. It's just how I live my life. Mm-hmm. It's how I live. It's how I've always lived. So I really don't look at it. So I don't know how to tell someone, you start here, then you do this, then you that. I don't know how to do that. No, because this is just how I do. Right. So it doesn't resonate for me like that. So when people are saying, I want to watch you, and Melinda says it all the time. She goes, I learned from you. She said, this is what Melinda said. When she first started coming to the store, when we were around the corner, she would come in with her notebook and her pen. And she would just watch me, and she would just write, and it was most irritating. I'm like, what the hell? And she would do that, and she said, as of recent, she said, the way you learn from Yvette is you just have to watch.
Because she's not going to tell you.
Because I can't tell you how to make cornbread, but I know how to make it.
Right. You know how to make cornbread.
I know how. I know to get the cornmeal. I know how to make my cornbread from scratch. I know how to do all of that, but I can't tell you how to do it. I can't tell you how many teaspoons, tablespoons, and all this other bullshit. I do it by I know how to do it. I don't know.
Do it. You don't have like this.
I don't. Yeah, she got all this stuff wrote down. I don't know. You know, it's like the other day somebody, my husband, and the barbecuing. And the barbecue sauce. I can't tell you how to make my barbecue sauce. I know how I make it.
You know how you do it.
I can't tell you how I do it.
It's like, that meme where it's like, I'm going to season it until the good Lord tells me to stop.
Exactly.
That's enough, my child.
So it's I for so, and I think it makes my butt clench up when folks are like, can you and it's like, I don't know how to do that. So that's been the thing I've been working on this entire freaking year. We're already in the 8th month, and I am still as lost as I was in January. I started in January telling myself, okay, look, you're gonna get this stuff all wrote down because this is gonna be some kind of a class. And I still don't. I don't know.
You're too busy.
But I don't know how to break it down to show anything. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do that.
Right. Well, I mean, it takes a lot. Because you know so much, even though you may not think of it that way, because you just do what you do and you don't really think about it. You, like you said, you make your cornbread from scratch and you know what to put in it, you know all that. But to write it down and say, put a pinch of salt and get this much butter.
Y'all making me smoke.
It's all that's not. It's not easy to put that together. It's not easy to put that together and write it down for people, and because, like she was saying, you live this. This is not. It's not an instruction manual, and I think that, like Yvette was saying, you have to realize it's a lifestyle. It's a life change. And what you're asking a mentor to do is, in so many words, take responsibility for your learning.
Yes. And
that's not something that everybody wants to do. But some of y'all get mad. Well, why won't she just teach us? Or why won't she let me learn from her? Why won't she tell me, how she makes her baths? Why won't she tell me how she makes her candles? Why won't she tell me how she runs her business? Where does she get her merchandise from? That's not any of your business. And that's not necessarily part of what mentorship is. A mentor is a person who is knowledgeable enough to know that there's more to a magical life than just TikTok and YouTube.
Yes.
There's just more to it.
It's a whole way of life.
It's a whole way of life, and a lot of people aren't ready. They just aren't ready. They may think they're ready. They may hunger for it, and you do have to have a certain hunger for that to be taught and things like that. But a lot of y'all, especially some of these younger generations, y'all wouldn't last. Because the minute we say something that hurts your feelings, you start, going to it's giving...
You're triggering me.
You're triggering me. This is not giving me life. And we're too old to try to give you life at this point.
Well, I'm kind of fucking blunt. I don't have time to tiptoe around your feelings.
Yeah.
So if you're near me or under my tutelage or whatever, let's take that off. Those who are near me, those who come around a lot, those who call me Ma.
Okay.
Those who come in here calling me Ma.
Mm-hmm.
They know how I am and they know how I talk. So they actually like it. It's weird
They
as
do.
hell. I think they like to be talking to them any kind of way. But I'm honest.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you the honest answer.
Mhm.
So if you come in here whining about some bullshit, I'm going to tell you, well, that's a fuck boy, and you know that motherfucker's a fuck boy. Don't get upset with me.
Right.
So, and that's part of that life. So a part of this life, some parts of it is can be considered lonely if you like to be around people, because there's a lot of times where you need to just step off,
Mhm.
and there's that point where you're going to sit. As you elevate in knowledge, you sit and you see the bullshit that you're around, and you realize that that's not the bullshit you need to be around.
Yeah.
And then you need to step away. But now you're feeling the way because this been your homegirl, this is your sister, this your cousin, this is Nene, or whoever these motherfuckers are.
Mhm.
And you really need to kind of step away from them. And now you feel away. That's a part of that process, though.
Yeah.
That's a part of the process. And I remember when it hit for me. So,
Yeah, I remember when it hit for me too.
I was in a motorcycle club, and I'm like, I can't keep hanging around.
You can't, right? You like, I can't keep doing this. Can't keep doing it. But like I said, you have to be willing to accept instruction and what we call it, not being coachable. I know I said that, but be willing to be corrected and have your beliefs challenged, because and you have to be willing to listen. A lot of people, 9 times out of 10, they're not listening. Like I said, they talk over you. You're trying to explain something, and they're like, yeah, but I saw on TikTok that, and she's got 67,000 followers, and I think that she knows all. And I'm like, okay, well, go follow her.
That'd be the thing.
Go follow her. And they're like, no, but, I really want somebody who's local and that I can talk to all the time. And then they want to, have all your personal information, your phone number. They want to invite themselves to your home. They want to, do all this stuff because they're looking for church, but they don't want to call it church.
Right.
They're looking for fellowship, but they don't want to call it fellowship.
Mary's being a so and so because somebody did. They kept trying to invite themselves to my house, and I'm like, I can count on one hand how many people know where I live.
Exactly.
Unless you know him, the husband whose house it is, unless you know him or his previous or whatever. But for my people knowing me, they don't know where the fuck I live. And I've kept it that way for years. I've always had it that way. I don't like pop-ups. Don't just pop up at my house. I will be standing with the door open. Nope, I ain't want no company today.
Like, I'm not home.
Nope. I've done that to someone.
But I'm looking at you, but I'm not home.
I have done that to someone back in the day. Before cell phones and all of that shit, I thought this brother called me. Can I come over? I said it was a brother I had been dating.
Mm-hmm.
I said no. I'm chilling today. He said, but I want to see you today. I'm like, nah, I'm chilling today.
That sounds like a you problem.
I'm chilling today. So my dining room window had a big picture window dining room, and it faced the driveway. It was right at the driveway. Okay. So I was sitting at my dining room table, reading something with the window open.
Right.
Here he comes pulling up. Exactly. And I'm just looking at him. And I'm watching him. He knocks on the door. He rings the doorbell. I ain't moved.
No, because you told him.
He finally walks back down the steps, and he's looking at me as he's walking down the steps. He's looking at me through the window. And gets back in his car. I have not moved. I still haven't moved. He goes to there was a payphone out across Gratiot at the corner or whatever. Mm-hmm. He goes to the payphone, calls me. Did you not see me? I know you saw me. And I told you I didn't want any company. He goes, but you watched me. Yeah, but I told you I didn't want any company.
And I told you I didn't want any company. That didn't change. Just because you showed up, that didn't change.
He got the message.
Yeah. Yeah. He either had no choice but to get the message.
So I don't. But yeah. I remember that because she was trying to get very close to me. And she kept trying to get close to me. She wanted to know all the inner workings of everything. And no.
No, because people will copycat you. And it's not really so much that you're worried about them copycatting you, because they're not you. They're not going to be able to do what you do. But they will try to take pages from your lifestyle, and it's like a scam account on TikTok for you younger folks that watch or scroll TikTok a lot, where you'll see one of the big content creators, and they're like, well, my name is Mary, and I have all these followers or whatever. And then a scammer will say, well, my name is Mary with 2 M's. Right. And I've got all your followers now, and I'm reposting all of your content. I'm stealing it all. And now I'm getting monetized off of your content. You're not getting anything because I've pretty much stolen your identity. I forgot where I was going with that. But in any case, that is a reason that some things have to be kept close to the vest. In order for you to, or at least in order for me to consider mentoring someone, not only do they have to be able to be corrected or instructed or what do you call it, constructive criticism, they have to truly have a thirst for knowledge, but not a thirst for just finding out enough for them to be dangerous. Because some people like to dabble, and there's nothing wrong with dabbling, don't get me wrong, but don't ask for a mentor if you're looking just to dabble, if you're just looking to peek behind the curtain.
Right.
Don't ask for a mentor for that. You can do that on your own. You don't need to, because a mentor has to be available to you. We have to take our time and be available to you. I'm not saying all hours of the night, although, because you got to set boundaries around it. Otherwise, people will call you at 3 o'clock in the morning. Man. Well, they might not call her at 3 in the morning.
Man.
But people will. They'll call you, and they'll expect that you're going to jump up and solve their life's problems and all this, that, and the other. And that's really not what mentorship is. That's not it. If you're looking for someone to define your life, you're not looking for a mentor.
No, not at all.
No,
I'm still stuck on the 3 o'clock in the morning phone
the
calls.
3 o'clock in the morning phone calls.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah. People will push that, and also for a big thing for me, other than them having a thirst for knowledge and wanting to know things and wanting to learn, is you need to be punctual and serious.
Well, punctuality is a must for me. Anything you do with me.
Yeah, you got to be punctual. Don't show up. Just don't do it.
No, I don't do late. I've never done late. I spent years managing law firms and everything. I don't do late. No, don't do late.
Nope.
Don't do late at all. But yeah.
Yeah, you don't do late. When I say that you have to be willing to have your beliefs challenged, what I mean by that is there's a lot of things that you may need to unlearn. A lot of you are coming from traditional religions, and you've falling out of that lifestyle for whatever reason, and you feel like there's something else, or you feel like you're different, or whatever the case may be, that you wander over into what I call it alternative spirituality or a magical lifestyle. Those beliefs may start to unravel, or they may start to interlock with other things that other knowledge that may have been kept secret from you or kept from you, that all of a sudden stuff is starting to intertwine, and you're starting to know that there was something more than just Adam and Eve. So that's what I'm kind of talking about, is you have to be willing to have those kind of things challenged. We're not trying to change what you believe currently, but in the expansion of knowledge that you get from a mentor, you're going to have some existential crises, I think is the correct term. It's a big word, y'all, so I don't know.
You're just flexing her vocabulary.
Okay, no, I'm not going to say that. But a mentor is someone who is a trusted advisor. So that's something that we would have to, as a mentor, take very seriously. We have to communicate clearly. There has to be clarity. There has to be commitment. Those are big things to have to consider. So it's like some people, you're like, okay, you have the gall to ask me to be your mentor, and you can't even listen to me when I'm telling you what my, because I'm one of the readers here. When my cards are telling you a certain thing, you won't even listen to that. You're like, well, yeah, but when is he coming back? Like, didn't I just tell you he's a fuckboy? You need to leave him alone. Yeah, but when is he coming back? See. And then at the same breath, you want to be mentored.
That's the kind of stuff I don't have time for. Those things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm considered mean, and I even with that, I try to remove my personal people detachment. I try to remove that because I have a people detachment. I know this. I'm not that clingy female that, oh my God, he. That's never been my thing. And that has driven some men to distraction because I'm not chasing you. I'm not worried. I'm not going through your phone. I'm not going through your wallet. I ain't doing none of that bullshit.
Right.
So when I talk to certain, let's just say the females who are going through these kind of things and they still feel the pull, and I feel like he still has my soul tied up and all this, because I don't understand this shit. So I don't try to shit on your parade.
No.
I don't understand it, and I'm going to let you know I don't understand it. I'm going to give you some things that I think might work. Mm-hmm. And again, I say I think might work because it's stuff I've heard from other people. I've not experienced it, so I can't give you something from my personal experience.
Right.
I've not experienced that.
Right.
My way of it is I might feel bad for a couple hours and give me a shot of Jack and some loud music and let me get a bucket of bleach and clean my house, and I'm good now.
Right.
That's me though, and everybody
roll.
Doesn't do it like I do it. So I don't know, so those kind of things. And then I get those looks from certain people who ask me like about the black walnut baths or whatever it may be. It's like, I need to, so does it work? And it's like, okay, but you got to put the belief in it that it works. You got to have this faith that it works. I can't tell you if it works because I've not had to do that.
You've not had to
I don't have that issue. I'm sorry. I've not had that kind of thing happen for
and
myself.
They look at her like this. Huh?
Honestly.
They look at her like that.
Hell, during the years when my son was being an asshole teenager and was running away and doing all that stupid shit, when I was worried about him, do I sit up and worry and do all of this? Why? Wherever he is, he's doing what the fuck he wants to do. I learned that when he would come back, and I find out he's tripping life fantastic. And I'm sitting here with my stomach's in knots. I can't drink, I can't eat, I can't do nothing.
And he's living his best life.
He's living his best life. It turned into a jewelry making business for me somehow because I had to do something with my hands with that energy. So next thing you know, I'm making bracelets. I'm making bracelets like crazy. Next thing you know, I'm selling bracelets. So I turned his whole stupid ass teenage bullshit thing into a whole business. Yep. So, but I was going to, back then, Discount Candle was the place. I would Discount Candle. I would do the work that I learned to do. I guess that she would be someone else I would call a mentor. She passed away. She's no longer around, at least in physical form.
Right.
So she would tell me different things to do to make my son come home.
Okay.
And sure enough, I would do what she said, and within 24 hours, he would show up at the door. He wouldn't stay.
He wouldn't stay, but he would show up. So I knew he was okay. Now we move on to the next phase. There's a whole nother batch of fucking bracelets. So, right. Yeah. But people, they want to say you're mean or whatever, but you're just being honest. You're telling them the truth.
Well, I have a hell of a resting bitch face, so most people think I'm mean just by looking at me anyway.
That's too bad that they would think that. I mean, you don't care. It's just that that's too bad that you judge somebody based on their countenance. Ooh, another big word. Ooh, I'm feeling myself tonight, y'all. Okay. But asking somebody to be responsible for you is huge. Because they have to have, like I said, they got to be available. They got to be responsible. They got to, be knowledgeable enough to guide you on whatever path you want to take. We have to have strong boundaries. Like I said, no calls at 3:00 at night. I don't care what you're going through. Don't call me at 3 in the morning.
Bleeding out and calling me after you called 911.
Exactly, because you're gonna get cut that way. The person needs to be level-headed, life experience, and like I said, if they're charismatic, that's not enough. That's not enough. There's a whole lot that goes into it. And you need to consider that when you are asking someone to be your mentor.
And likes and followers is not a reason to ask someone to be your mentor.
No. You don't want the one that's loud and charismatic and engages in all types of buffoonery because they're putting on a performance to get likes and followers. They want to be monetized, and I'm not saying there's a problem that you want to use or want to turn your spirituality into a business, so to speak, or make a living, so to speak. But I'm talking about people who are just taking your money. There are people who want to have a spiritually based business who are honest about it. Those people are few and far between.
Yes.
But we are out here. There are some of us out here who really do care about folks, whether they're blunt or not. Whether they're blunt or not.
Attacked.
You feel attacked. Yeah. So, there's nothing wrong with using your spirituality and turning that into your business or your living, but don't rob people. Don't price gouge them or things like that. And there's also folks who are the opposite. They're like, you shouldn't charge for anything spiritual or anything like that. You should just help. But I look at it as money is an energy exchange. You're paying for a service, so to speak. Doing spiritual work isn't easy. It can be very draining. It can be very challenging. You oftentimes have to wear so many different hats to be spiritual. And then you have to put that times 10 when you call yourself a mentor. There's like 20 other hats you need to wear. So you have to consider all that when you're asking somebody to mentor you. It's a huge thing to ask someone. And I don't think people realize what they're asking. They want somebody to guide them they want somebody to give them answers to questions they don't even know to ask. You know, it's like, well, what are you asking? Well, I don't know. That's why I need a mentor. And you're like, well, you need to know something in order for me to help you.
I get that a lot. People walking in saying, I don't know what I need. I just know I need something. Or what do you need something for? I don't know. I just know I need something.
Or they don't want to tell you what they want it for.
Yeah, that part as well.
Yeah, they don't want to tell you what they're asking for. Or either we get people who come up and her son's running in front of the store and they're like, is your mom here? I need to talk to her. Or I need to talk to one of the ladies in the back. And, you know, they come up and whisper to you, he's coming back. And you're like, okay, he's not. He's not coming back. And they don't want to hear that. They may insist on you selling them something, and you're like, okay, well, you can buy what you want to buy, but that doesn't mean he's coming back.
It's goofy shit. Like
Yeah.
the I want to get a cord cutting candle. They want to
Yeah.
buy the kit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't leave them alone. I don't know what's going on, but I need to buy the cord cutting kit. It's like, okay, so now cord cutting kit, do you want to buy the kit? Well, let's start with, maybe you should stop fucking him. And then they stand there and look at me like, what? And I'm like, so buying the candle is not going to do anything, sweetheart. You're still boning the dude. Stop. And then the friend will stand there and go, girl, I've been telling her for a long time. And it's like, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So some things are common sense. Some things a mentor is not going to help you with. Some things are common sense. But if you decide that you want a better life, to change your life, to do something different with your life, whatever it may be, then you're making that decision. But now they're the ones who make those decisions. And speaking of the guy, I'm sorry if I'm just using females. Most of my clientele, most of them are female. I do have some male, but most of them are female. So I'm just going to use that. They'll come in and they want to have a more spiritual / magical life, but the guy is against it. So now what are you going to do with that?
Right.
How are you going to make that happen? So, and this is where my filter is broken, because I think Magic Require, when we did I think it was me and I did an interview with him, and he asked me that about what about my husband? How does my husband handle my spirituality? And I'm like, I don't give a shit. That's never a question for me. In my dating years, that's never been a question for me. If you're not into what I'm into, bye-bye. I can't help you.
Right.
I mean, there was a dude that I wanted to date so bad, and we finally start kicking it, and we get to the point where I finally invite him to my house. And when I open my door, the way my house was configured at that time, my ancestor altar was pretty much first thing you saw.
Okay.
And he just started talking shit.
Really?
He didn't make it the rest of the way in the house. He had to go.
No, he didn't.
He had to go. And as bad as I wanted to see him, he had to go.
You were like, he had to go because you knew it wasn't going to work.
That's not going to work. You're not going to come in and talk. So when the people come in and their spouse, their significant other, whatever, isn't into the whole spiritual aspect of it, and they don't like the fact that they have an altar, or they have to hide their altar, or they have to hide the candle that they're burning, or whatever the case is.
That's hiding a part of yourself.
It's like, I don't know how to help you with that, because that means you guys got something else to work through. Either you're going to work through that and come to a common ground, or not. I don't know what to tell you for that, because I know how I handle
how
it.
You are.
And how I've always handled it is wouldn't get the fuck on it. That's how I've handled it. I mean,
exactly. If we're not on the same page.
I left the dude in Maryland for that same reason. I mean, he had a problem with my altar, so it's like I started putting my shit in storage. He's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm leaving."
Oh, I'm out. You know what? So yeah, I mean, that's something. That's part of something you should learn about a person when you first start dating them.
Most definitely.
You know, you should.
But that brother lied.
Oh, he lied.
He lied. He told me he was okay with everything as long as I believed in God. I'm like, of course I believe in God.
Right.
So he told me it was okay. So then he had a problem with my ancestor altar.
Yeah, he lied.
He lied.
He lied. Yeah, that didn't work out. Yeah, but people need to have those kinds of conversations when you're dating at the outset. You need to think about those things. You need to talk that through, what your hot buttons are, what their hot buttons are, whether or not they're hot button, you can agree to disagree or whatever. You need to find those things out. Like Yvette was saying, common sense is not common.
It's not.
It's just not common anymore. And a lot of it, when you follow any spiritual path, it's about common sense. It's about practicality. It's about how you live your life day to day. And if you have all those qualities, you may not need a mentor. You can be self-guided. You know, like Yvette was saying, she is not necessarily gung-ho to initiate in anything. If you know what you know, you live how you live, you don't have to be.
That's only because the human factor comes in.
Right.
I mean, I would love to go the full way with voodoo. I really would. And I might at one point. But what has happened to me along this journey is when I was a part of the Kemetic temple, the human factor, the egos of those brothers got on my fucking nerves. I couldn't take it.
Couldn't do it.
So at Ifa, I started. Then I passed. Then that Baba wanted to try to sleep with me. We got to go through all this nonsense. So I've always gone through some garbage where the human factor comes into it. So the mambo that I started working with 10 years ago, the stuff she was saying to me was so off the wall. Everything in my body was screaming, this bitch crazy than a mofo. And then I find out later that Mama Tanya knows who I'm talking about. We know this same person, and we came to that agreement. Like, she cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
So, so that part. So then I make friends. So I'm friends with these people. I'm friends with different Mambos and Ugans, and I have friends. So I'm around them, and I learn. And I was learning a lot with Simoise, because he was an Ugan, and like I said, I helped him in a lot of stuff, and then we spent a lot of time talking on the phone. So I learned a lot of stuff. But I'm not initiated, and I'm clear in that. And I'm not looking for a title, because I've had people who have tried to push me into initiation for the title. You're supposed to be this. And it's like, well, I've never been impressed by titles, so that doesn't work for me.
That doesn't.
I'm not running to try to do that. So they're telling me how I'm supposed to have godchildren, I'm supposed to do this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, if you knew how many people come through these doors every day and call me mama, I don't need the title of God mama for
you really
nothing.
Don't. Yes,
I am called
really
mama
don't.
By enough freaking people.
You do.
For somebody who gave birth just one time, I got a whole bunch of people.
Folks.
So I'm good, and I don't give them a name as. I know people who will call them my godchildren and all. No, these are. I just call them my kids. Here comes my kids.
Right.
That's it. I mean, because I'm not looking for any of that, and that doesn't make me better or worse. It just makes me different. And I'm just not on that path for that. Mentorship, I can see that coming about in very many ways for myself, for me being mentored.
Okay.
Not for me mentoring someone else, because I still don't see it. I don't have time to pay my own attention to myself. So.
Yeah, I see that.
I mean, the fact that we sit up here and do this means that I'm not doing something else.
Right.
So, that's why my posts about my concerts are huge, because I get to go to a concert.
You get to go to a concert.
That's my me time, my music. So,
yeah, it's
and then I run into people at the concert.
Of course she does.
Motown Witch. And I'm like, oh Lord.
Oh man. Yes, the people she runs into. Yeah.
But that's a huge thing, though. That's a huge thing to take somebody under your wing. I just, maybe because I look at it, maybe because I take it very seriously. So therefore, that's something that I take lightly, which is why I don't do it like that. Because I know I can think of one person in particular who's constantly taking people under their wing, and then she fucks them around. And then they come away irritated and pissed off.
Right.
And it's like, because it's not,
and it makes them gun shy, which you can definitely understand.
Yeah, they're gun shy, and I'm just sitting there looking at them like I told you so. But
right, but you didn't listen.
But I mean, they sound good though. That person sounds good.
Yeah, that's what I talk about when I say they're good at putting on a performance.
That person sounds good, and then you get 3 weeks into their nonsense, and then you find out that they're crazy as cat shit. So,
yep, exactly. So it, like we say, it's a very serious undertaking, and do not ask that question lightly. Because you need to consider all the things we've mentioned in order for you to consider being mentored. And try to, or don't try, but look at the reason you want a mentor. Look at that. Really look in that mirror and be honest with yourself as to why you want a mentor, or what you're hoping to get, or what you're expecting from a mentor. What are you expecting your mentor to do? How are you expecting your mentor to be? What exactly do you need mentoring on? Are you trying to learn to do ritual and witchcraft? Are you trying to learn Ifa or Vodun? Or are you trying to practice hoodoo? Just say, well, I'm spiritual, is not enough. You need to really look at what you want to be mentored for. Because we're not mind readers. You need to be able to formulate some sort of something. And I know it's frustrating because a lot of you come in and they're like, I don't know. I just know I need to be mentored. I know I need a mentor. And, will you mentor me? And it's like an orphan coming up to you saying, will you be my mommy? And it's like, I'm sorry, but no.
I think the general mentorship question with general spirituality would go into the whole hoodoo realm.
Okay.
I would think it would, because that's just the basic everyday life.
Yeah.
And it's simple. It's no particular deities.
Right.
It's your ancestors and God, basically. And it's I think that's a little easier
to start with,
because all the other ones are actual religions that you would get initiated into, that you would have to study with a priest or priestess. So that has nothing to do with what I would do, period.
Right.
I don't talk to anyone about even the stuff that I've started with Ifa or Voodoo, because that's not for me to teach that.
Right.
So the hoodoo part, yeah, because that goes more into the open spirituality part. But even with that, though, that gives me, oh my goodness, that's a whole nother thing. Because I listen to these people. There's 2 particular people that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm not even going to say their names.
Right.
But they like to tell you that that's not authentic hoodoo. This is not authentic. This is not authentic. And it's like, that's authentic to your family, to maybe your region of the country. That's not even fair to say that, oh, this isn't what this is, because my potato salad, your potato salad, 2 different fucking things, but it's all potato salad. So it's not even fair to say that, because that's what happened in your family. Or you're from South Carolina, my family's from Alabama. We might have done something totally fucking different. Then you got the people who have migrated north. Now they can't get certain things, so certain things can't happen up here that happened down there. So some things had to change over the years because of this migration. So you can't tell me what happens in Michigan is not authentic because it's not what you did in South Carolina.
Exactly.
That's retarded to me.
That is.
And I hear that on different YouTubes, and it ends up pissing me off, and I have to turn the YouTube off because it's like that's crazy to me. That's nuts. Like, somebody came in here. What did they ask me for They asked me the herb, and it was bear something they asked for. Did I have bear? It's something with a bear.
Okay.
Like the animal, the bear.
Yeah.
It's bear something. And I said I didn't have it. Come to find out later, I did have it. It's called OSHA root and other people. See, so
okay.
there's cinquefoil, 5-finger grass. You know what I'm saying? You have the different things. So you have different regions called different things. Up here we call them fucking dragonflies. Down south they call them snake doctors. It's different things. So for me to say, oh, what you're doing is not authentic hoodoo because that's not how my grandmother taught me, or that's not what I learned in my house. Well, your people from Florida, my people are from Alabama. That's different.
It's different.
So it's it's goofy
and
stuff
I don't
like
think
that.
they get that hoodoo is a folk magic tradition. It's folks from Virginia, folks from Louisiana, folks from Michigan,
Child.
folks from the Appalachians.
These people be on here standing on platforms was like, oh no, this one brother, that's not authentic, that's not real. It's like, but you're in the Carolinas, you're in a whole different place, or you're in Georgia, different place, different. You guys got different herbs, you got different, all of it. You got different snakes, you got different. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah. So even using my own personal life as an example, my grandmother was raised in Alabama. She raised her family in Michigan. So she might have done something in Michigan different than she did in Alabama, but that doesn't take away from what she did.
What she did, no, it doesn't take away.
It is nuts. But thanks to the internet and DHL and FedEx and all this stuff, you can get a lot of stuff that you couldn't get before. And now you can get some things, and things can go a little bit differently, and you can go a little bit smoother or go a little bit more historically in what your family got and what they can purchase for whatever. But half these mofos wouldn't know half the shit that if it was growing in the ground in front of them. They know the dry version that they bought on Amazon or whatever.
That's it, but they wouldn't know it.
These are the same people who are passing judgment though, and it's like, dude, stop. Just stop. You're just making it difficult. So that then there are the people that get to come in here that have watched these videos. Now they want to argue with me about something, but they still don't even know what they're talking about. They're arguing me on the basis of what this other person on YouTube said. And these are the reasons why when they start that mentor conversation, I just back away and slowly ease back into the bushes like Homer Simpson. Because it's like, dude, I'm not doing this. This is just nuts.
With you.
Because you have to understand different families, different regions, all of it.
You have to come to it with an open mind. And most people are not open-minded.
No.
They, like we said, they come in and they're armed with a list, usually on their phone. Don't pay this any attention. This is old school. But they usually come in with a list, or they come in on the phone, which irritates me when they're on speakerphone. Put the phone, tell them you'll call them back when you leave the store. Please. But they come in, they're on speakerphone. What else do I need? And then they want to argue with you about the names of the herb. Can I get some hibiscus? That's what I said. I said hibiscus. What you mean? Like, okay. But then they, in the same breath, I want you to mentor me. I like you because you tell the truth, Miss Yvette. You tell the truth. You should mentor me. No, I shouldn't. No.
Now, see, that translates into I just want free information.
Yeah, I just want free information. And it's not that you got to charge for everything, but the free information you're asking for is, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stupid as fuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My Tourette's kicked in.
It did.
But honestly, even the whole monetizing thing aside, okay, so you come into a place of business and you want something. I have an overhead. Yes. I have to pay for this place of business.
Yeah, you do.
I have
It
to pay
doesn't
for the
just
lights,
exist.
the heat, the air, all of that. I have to pay for
You gotta
this.
pay for that.
So you want to come in here, you want to sit and talk my ear off for an hour. You want me to give you my undivided attention. Now, mind you, I'm running the whole business. I have other people coming in. I have phone calls coming in. I have emails coming in.
Orders.
I'm supposed to not pay attention to none of this and pay attention totally to you for free. And you're supposed to go now run off and go make money off of what I just told you.
Yeah.
So you get to make money while I lost money.
Exactly.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't. It's got to make dollars and cents.
I mean,
And that
and
doesn't.
that's the world that we live in. That's just being realistic.
That is being
we are not
realistic.
living someplace in a hut on a beach where I got to pay for shit. That's
real.
That's just realistic. So that's that whole part.
Yeah. So it's like I said, it's a lot to ask of someone when you're not really serious, and even if you are really serious, it's still a lot to ask of someone to mentor you, and especially if you have no clue what you want to be mentored for.
But now, me and Angie talked about it, and now me and you get to talk about it.
Okay.
There could be a whole series of classes.
Yeah, there could be classes.
It could be a whole series. But that would involve us all brainstorming on what the classes are going to be and what days are going to be.
Okay.
There could be a whole series of classes. Then we get to figure that out. And because on top of that, folks just don't want to pay for shit. But
they don't.
A whole series of classes and whatever kind of price cut, whatever they could get for taking the whole series or however that goes.
However we figure it out.
That has to be figured out, because that's something that I've been saying, and I said now I would like to put out there in my own head starting in the fall, like the change of the seasons, getting things going to take this into the next so-called new year.
Yes.
And so that you can start your new year in a different headspace.
Yes.
See how that works.
Okay.
That's as close to mentoring as y'all gonna get. For me. Mary might do some other stuff.
Ain't no telling. There's one person that I'm considering. Because for me, I know we talked about group versus one-on-one. Group would probably be easier, but for me, I think one-on-one would be better, because I don't like people all that much. Never mind. A group to me would be harder to manage than one-on-one. But there's a limit to the one-on-ones, because I don't want to have like 10 one-on-ones. That's going to be too much. So we're talking maybe one or two people that I would be able to do that with. And it depends on what they're looking to learn, because I might not be qualified to teach them or guide them on whatever path they're on. If they're looking to be guided along the path of Vodun, I'm not your girl. But if you're looking to be guided along the path of what we call traditional witchcraft, that would be more my expertise. That kind of thing. But you gotta have somewhere that you want to start. You can't just come in here and go, oh, just tell me something.
There's been a lot of that this last week, I swear.
Yeah, there has been a lot. Ooh, it looks like it's gonna rain.
Oh yeah, we have a flood watch.
Oh,
I know, we're gonna get ready to cut this off in a second.
Yeah.
It's been over an hour.
oh, okay.
We've been rambling for over an hour with y'all. So
Y'all love it.
We
Y'all
got
love it.
some goofy Michigan weather. I've gotten some codes on my phone saying that we got a flood alert. And yada 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 yada.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I think you covered all your points, because Mary has her whole professional list that she wrote out.
I do. I think we did. I think we covered everything. The one thing I would say is do your research, ask questions.
Definitely.
Of the person that you are considering mentor. This is like a two-way interview. You know, so you're interviewing the person that you want to guide you, as well as we are interviewing you to see if you're someone we want to guide.
I think the asking questions for the person who wants to be mentored,
Mm-hmm.
And I know this might be contradictory what I'm about to say,
Okay.
but that person has to trust their own gut instinct, because many people will start off like the one person that I tease that comes in all the time for readings from all of y'all, and I be told her she needs to punch a time clock.
You know who you are.
Right, you know who you are. She had a gut feeling about being mentored by that one person,
Okay.
and she didn't follow it. And
She second guesses herself.
And if so, therefore, what I'm saying is those looking to be mentored, trusting their gut, trusting their spirit guides, trusting whatever it is that you follow. I know there got to be something that you follow, but follow that instinct, because that instinct is telling you run for the hills.
Exactly.
Don't do that there.
Don't do that there.
So, you know, sometimes you have to trust yourself.
Yes.
You definitely have to trust yourself that you will save a lot of time and money, because nothing pisses me off more than what I'll waste money because I can get the money back. The time I don't get that shit back, that pisses me off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That makes me angry.
Yeah.
So, trusting yourself, trusting your gut, knowing to ask those questions, and if your gut twists, your stomach dives, and you've got the butterflies, no. Absolutely, that's an absolutely not.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. But I think I've covered everything that was on my extensive list here.
OBKB.
Mm-hmm.
She makes me feel like a slacker. She got the whole list. I just sat down.
Well, you know, Yvette's good at doing things on the fly. She has to be able to multitask and think on the fly and all like that. I have, 6 hours to, figure out stuff. So, between clients.
Yeah, because we have some busy days up
We
there.
do have some busy days. We really do.
All right, people. We're going to catch you guys on the next time around.
Mm-hmm.
And see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
If you like our content, like and subscribe, and click on the bell for notifications. If you're in the Detroit area, stop by and see us. We're open 7 days a week, or visit us at our website, www.motownwitch.com. Thanks.